Hello, this is One Lovely Creation. Thank you for joining me for episode 2 of Imagine That, an adult storytelling show. Today, we pick up at chapter 3 of Zane, Pleasure Extraordinaire, Part 1, written by Liv Bennett and published by Zane Publishing. Chapter 3. On the Edge. The smile of disbelief remains on my lips long after Julie returns to her desk. Me? Married? Taking care of my family and tiny human beings? I snort. It doesn't sound like something a man with my money and killer looks should take upon himself. I'd rather have one of my previous lovers show up with a child of mine and claim child support than have to go through the ordeal of being a husband. That would seriously be a last-ditch attempt to secure the future of my company. However, in all honesty, the women I've slept with aren't exactly mother quality and would raise a child in less than stellar conditions. I don't claim to have the potential to become a great father, but I have the resources, aka money, to have them raised in qualified hands and send them to the best schools. I find myself agreeing with the qualities Julie came up with for the woman who'd mother my child, or perhaps children, mentally adding the requirement that the passion continue. But she's a fool if she thinks I'll seriously consider personally putting myself in the prison of monogamy and exclusivity. I might as well move into federal prison. Longingly, I eye the bottles of liquor lined up neatly on the coffee table in the seating area in the corner. If I'll indeed be a father, alcohol shouldn't have a place in my life, or at least not as much of one as it has had these past months. I phone Danny and ask him to take care of the bottles for me. He nods when he enters my office carrying an empty cardboard box and quickly starts loading the 3 bottles of alcohol on the coffee table and another half dozen in the liquor cabinet. Julie reminds me of my lunch appointment with Brad, the director of the frat house show. I'd skip it and ask her to postpone it if it wasn't already his 3rd attempt to meet with me. All right, I'm on my way. I grab my phone and head out once Danny has all the alcohol safely packed in the box and places it in Julie's capable hands. She smiles as she murmurs something devious into her earpiece mic, her face brightening up as her sinister grin widens. She's onto something, and I'm afraid I'll find out what it is very soon. Brad has been the director of Frat House since day one, although he allows me to take control of a few episodes if only for publicity reasons. We meet at the set. I take a few minutes to chat with the actors and the cast to listen to the latest issues and problems they encounter during the shootings. I guess having the boss of all the bosses before you psychologically turns them into happy campers. Because none of them, even the 4 main actors, can't bring themselves to point out any issues related to their work, which is another reason why I need Julie. She's a smooth operator and people trust her with their complaints without worrying about getting fired. After my failed attempt at getting my people to talk about work-related problems, I head directly to Brad's office and find him talking with Scarlett, the actress who plays the female lead of Frat House. Her eyes widen when she notices me, her thin eyebrows raising on her forehead. Quickly, she gets to her feet and shakes hands with me. Her face is all soft and smiley, her cheeks blushing an adorable shade of pink as we exchange pleasantries. Scarlett is probably the only person who is sincere about her interest in her colleagues. She listens and she cares deeply. I've never seen her yelling at a makeup artist or even frowning at the employees beneath her pay grade. She's 5'8" tall, has long blonde hair and unusually light green eyes, just like the character Brad and I had in mind when we first discussed the series. But I'd pick her for the role even if her looks didn't match. She has a strong character, unyielding and achievement-oriented, likely as a result of being raised as the only girl and the youngest of the 8 kids in an impoverished farm family in Ohio. Her parents didn't want her to go to high school and instead kept her on the farm, but she taught herself Spanish, literature, and math with books and CDs she borrowed from the local library. She got accepted to the College of Nursing at Ohio State, where I auditioned her for the role. Her raw beauty and the assured way she carried herself despite her young age were the first qualities I noticed about her. But her brilliant mind and resilience made me decide on the spot she was the one and that she wouldn't disappoint. She was like a mature and smart 40-year-old woman wrapped up in an 18-year-old body. Even after 4 seasons into the series, she's still the first one to show up on the set and the only one who always delivers her lines correctly on the first go. She's superb in ever since. Hey Zane, is it true you're hunting for a wife? She slides her arm through mine as we walk towards the chairs in Brad's office. I laugh and pull out a chair for her. She thanks me briefly, her eyes locked on mine with a childish happiness sparking in them. I wish Chloe, my sister, had half the sympathy and compassion Scarlett has. To Chloe, everyone wants something from her and no one is to be trusted. I don't blame her for becoming paranoid, though. No one who grew up under my father's abuse could have become a healthy and happy individual. When do you find time to read tabloids, I ask. I read everything about you, so do you want me to fix you up with one of my friends? You might not have noticed, but I'm 32. You know what they'll call me if I start dating a 20-year-old? I pause to wait for her answer, but she only shakes her head with curiosity. A creeper? I don't want to give anyone a reason to call me that. At least not before I turn 50. I believe you'll be a hot piece of ass as a 50-year-old, she says, and turns to Brad. Don't you think, Brad? Brad winces as if he's been offered food right out of a dumpster and pulls a blue folder out of his drawer. We have more pressing issues to talk about than Zane's ass in his 50s, if you don't mind. He lifts a hand in the air and waves it as a gesture to dismiss her while his face still looks cringed. Sorry, I gotta go. Scarlett stands quickly and grips my shoulder in a gentle squeeze. Zane? Scarlett? I crane my head to watch her out, and as soon as she closes the door, I turn back to Brad with a murderous glare. What gives you the right to treat her like a piece of shit? Brad's hand holding the blue folder remains frozen in the air while he looks at me with a shocked expression. I'm sorry, Zane, I didn't mean anything. For you, it's Mr. Hawkins from now on. Your behavior is unacceptable. Next time, remind yourself that if I ever have to choose between her and you, it's you who will be out the door. She's irreplaceable, but you're not. It wasn't my intention to be disrespectful. Scarlett and I are good friends. She knows I can never be mean to her. He defends himself, his voice almost cracking as if he'll start crying in a second. Whatever. I spread my legs and slipped my phone out of my pocket. What did you want to talk about? I asked, glancing down my phone to deprive him of my attention. He's not respectful to his subordinates. He doesn't deserve my full attention. He basically repeats the same thing Julie was lecturing me about, that being how behind the writer team is on the screen is fucking A. He basically repeats the same thing Julie was lecturing me about, that being how behind the writer team is on the script and whatnot. I nod without speaking, and only at the end do I tell him the issue is being taken care of. He stands and walks me out, apologizing one more time as he opens the car door for me. I call Julie to cancel my afternoon appointments and order Danny to take me to Pleasure Extraordinaire to let off steam. On the ride, I log into my Pleasure Extraordinaire account and skim through the ladies who are up for a little afternoon gymnastics. A new client asks for an all-nighter fuck fest and has a few juicy photos of her tight petite body posted to lure in the gigolos of pleasure extraordinaire. But so far, no one's taken an interest in her. I wouldn't be the gentleman I am today if I didn't help out a woman in need of a big hard cock. So I volunteer and send her a few pictures from my private gallery for her to decide. Her confirmation message comes in quickly along with more photos of her, specifically her pussy. I love me a woman who doesn't shy away from sending pussy pics. I devour each image from several angles, feeling my cock getting hard in preparation for tonight's fuckfest. Have a great afternoon, sir. Danny nods as I get out of the car. I'll stay the night. Come pick me up tomorrow at 6. I order and head off to the tall gates of the mighty pleasure extraordinaire mansion. A group of boys, whom we call mannequins, are lined up on each side of the hall, which means a client is coming. They're wannabe gigolos whose only job is to stand half naked at the entrance hall all day long to welcome guests. Their muscles are bulging beneath their Solarian tanned skins, but that's all there is to them. I don't see any of them becoming a wanted gigolo like me or JJ XXX, whose fame is larger than the state of California or any other permanent gigolos of pleasure extraordinary. It takes an unbeatable level of self-confidence, years of sexual experience, and also money to turn on the type of women who are customers here. And only a few men can score high in all categories. To sign in, I walk straight to the office of the director, who also happens to be my adopted brother Ace. Having to endure his face, his whole demeanor is the only downside of this job. And of course, the fact that he's the one who got Lindsay. I knock on the door of his office and listen. I know for a fact Lindsay is right now at her cubicle at Hawkins Media Group, but still I can't help but fear I'll hear her moans of pleasure behind the door of Ace's office. Fortunately, he's alone in his office and barely lifts his head to acknowledge my presence as I enter. I sink into a chair before his desk. Looks like I'm in demand for tonight. The client wants someone for 24 hours, he states, keeping up his efforts of not sparing me a glance. I'll clear my schedule for tomorrow if that's what she wants. I'm all for an enthusiastic, energetic lady who's down for a several hours of fuck session. Good. Did you have sex within the last 24 hours? He asked with a less than enthusiastic tone of voice. Yeah, why? Why? At last he lifts his head and fixes his angry eyes on me. If you're to serve a client for a full day, you should abstain from sex for at least that much time. That's in the Pleasure Extraordinaire 101 booklet that everyone, including you, should have memorized by heart. So what if I fucked a few hours ago? I can handle a day or two of fucking without any problems. I don't care what mythical superhero you think yourself to be. Customer satisfaction is my main concern. I'd rather turn down a client than offer her used up goods. I laugh as hard and loudly as I can. Used up goods. Is he still holding a grudge for me having my way with Lindsay? Apparently, yes. He doesn't blink an eye as he watches my laughter fade away. Request her for a reschedule. If she doesn't accept it, I'll ask around for someone else to fill in for you. No, don't do that. She wants me. Ask for me specifically. Goodness gracious. Get over yourself, Zane. She doesn't even know who you are. I roll my eyes at his unusually annoying attitude. Something is up, and I have a suspicion it's not sunny in paradise anymore. Why so grumpy, little brother? Aren't you getting any at home? I grunt. Fuck you. Get out of my office, he yells at me. His nostrils flare while his face turns red instantly. I purse my lips together to resist my urge to laugh or make another joke. I need to get laid. The quicker the better, and I kind of like it here at Pleasure Extraordinaire, so I should at least play my part as his subordinate to not get kicked out. Sorry, I'm taking back my joke. I swear I'll give the client an unforgettable night. Have I ever disappointed a client? No. Have I always been honest with you about my sexual habits? Again, no. But I'll give the client what she wants and more. I swear I will. She'll leave the mansion as a happy, swooning, and well-fucked woman. Satisfaction guaranteed, or her money will be fully refunded. He gives